Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co-host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back, hussies, because we got your number. It's Q Points, and I am Sir Daniel.
And listen, I'm Jay Ray, y'all. Oftentimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. And we are legit talking about a legend this evening. And that's so funny that you started that way, Sir Daniel.
Listen, I've been waiting for this Dionne Warwick discussion for a hot second because the kids want to act like Dionne Warwick was not that girl. The doll is that girl. All right. And I am going to, the heretofore mentioned Dionne Warwick will be heretofore mentioned as the doll tonight because Dionne Warwick legit set a standard for Black women in music at a time when, you know, we're talking about a time when they still had to come in through the back door of hotels. Mm-hmm. They still had to come in through the back door of the venues, which they were selling out.
Yes.
So this was not an easy feat by no means.
No.
So we're going to be talking about that and a lot more. J Ray, first of all, how you doing, bro?
You know what, man? I am good. It has been a day. It's been a day today. And for a second there, I felt overwhelmed by it all.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it just kind of, you know, you take a step back, you breathe, and then you kind of get through it. And so, yeah, I've had one of those days where I had to take a step back, breathe, and get through it. But I'm happy to be here and happy to see you, and I'm happy to talk about this. How are you doing, man?
I am fantastic. I am not a proponent of drugs and drug use. However, I have shared publicly that yesterday I had my first colonoscopy as a man of a certain age, a Black man of a certain age. It is very necessary that we have to do these things for our health. And I suggest on my 40 plus mutuals that you all schedule yourselves to get your colonoscopy. But that was some of the best sleep I've ever had. I'm just
we talked about that. Like, listen, when I got that done and that lady said he's prepped and ready to go, all I remember was waking up.
Literally, they're like, Mr. Daniel, you can get up now. You can start pulling yourself together.
And you're like,
yes. I'm like, that was it? Okay, shoot, let's go. And they are serious about you can't do anything else for the day because you're still floating for the rest of the day. But I'm back down to earth today, ready to talk about everything that's going on with Miss Dionne Warwick. We got to acknowledge what's going on in the world. There's a lot, you know, things are happening in the Ukraine right now that's crazy. Really, since we were kids, nothing like this has happened since we were kids. Because there was, you know, we were right around that whole Cold War.
The Cold War, yeah.
The coming down of the Russian war, all of that stuff. We were allowed to see that.
Yeah.
And here we are again in witnessing a perilous situation over there.
Yeah, this is such a weird time. And it's funny, like right before we got on tonight, was having a separate conversation It is so important for us to understand this, even though it seems to be happening really far away, it does have impacts on all of us here. I mean, Sir Daniel, we've of course lived through, there was the war in the early 90s. Remember, Peace in the Middle East was on every radio station.
Desert Storm,
Operation Desert Storm. And then, of course, there was what seemed like the forever war during the George W. Bush and the Barack Obama years. And these things have long-lasting implications for our communities, our folks, and the world itself. So, just pray for the folks over there, both the folks in Russia and the folks in the Ukraine and those surrounding areas. Because here's the thing that I was reminded of this evening by a brother out of Detroit is there are leaders that make these decisions around these things, but the citizens and the people that live in those places are the ones that have to live through this.
Yeah.
And we have to hold up our brothers and sisters over there because this is a lot that's happening. And so, thank you, Sir Daniel, for making sure that we acknowledge what's happening in the world. And y'all stay up on this. Do not ignore it. It's a real thing that's happening right now.
Absolutely. So from one soapbox to another, you guys, y'all are not taking this voting thing seriously. And right now we're talking about voting for a lot of the people that are the 2022 list for the induction of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Jerry, I don't have any beef with anybody that's on that list. I love me some Dolly Parton. I love Running Up the Hill with Kate Bush.
Yeah.
Eurythmics, all those people. Love them. But you are not on Tina Knowles' internet gonna have Dionne Warwick, Dionne the Doll Warwick on the bottom? How dare y'all?
How dare y'all?
How dare you?
Listen, your ancestors don't want this for you. Your ancestors don't want this for you. They did not do all that they did and give us all that they gave so that you could sit back and not click the link that's in the chat box right now or in the description if you listening or watching later to go and vote. You got until the end of April to go and vote. And I need you to vote, of course, for Miss Dionne. I need you to vote for Fela Kuti. I need you to vote for A Tribe Called Quest. And I need you to vote for Lionel Richie and pick whoever else you're going to vote for. It's fine. But those 4 people who we're talking about over the next 4 weeks. So, Sir Daniel, we are having 4 weeks of content just about the Black artists that have been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they have a fan vote, right? And that gets incorporated, like as they're thinking about who gets in and who gets inducted and all of that stuff. So we're going to be doing this over the 4 weeks. So we're going to talk about all of these artists and y'all need to go vote, yo. Stop playing.
I mean, you can't call yourself, and I'm going to call y'all out, you can't call yourself a fan of an enjoyer of Q Points. You can't call yourself a lover of Black music if we sit back and allow our artists to languish like this. It's just not right. It really isn't right.
It's not right.
I feel like I'm like Issa right now. I'm voting for everybody Black. Click, 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 click. I'm voting for everybody Black. No, but seriously, and tonight we're starting off this campaign. We are campaigning for all 4 of those groups and artists that we made a distinction of this evening. And we're starting with Dionne Warwick. Like I said at the top, Dionne Warwick came along at a time when, it was still barely a few years out of Jim Crow. We're talking about, she is, the next step above like a Dorothy Dandridge and the Ellas and those women that had to, you saw what happened to them. You saw they got arrested for singing in mixed crowds. They got arrested for that. They got arrested for dipping their toes in pools at white hotels and things of that nature. So really, to be an entertainer at that time was a revolutionary thing. Yeah, and you were putting your life on the line. I would bet dollars to donuts that Dionne Warwick received death threats, and many of those artists, I'm sure they received death threats back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would not be surprised. During the era when Dionne was starting, okay, so let's think about the years, right? So really her career kind of begins in 1955. I think that's when they kind of peg it. But really her big year was like 1962. 1962, right? Where you still didn't have, there was very few black folks that were on TV. It was not like a regular thing. And you have this black woman singing these pop standards produced and arranged by Burt Bacharach and Hal David. And there's this interesting history note I want to make here, Sir Daniel, because I found this fascinating. I didn't know this, but as I was prepping for the show.
Let's do it.
So when Don't Make Me Over came out, which apparently, I ain't noticed, this on the Wikipedia, I don't know, somebody could fact check this because, Wikipedia, sometimes it'd be, whatever.
A little sus, yeah.
It'd be a little sus. But apparently she snapped at Burt and Hal and said, "Don't make me over," and they basically created a song, which tells you all you need to know about Dionne Warwick. She was like, "Don't do me, don't try."
Listen, hussies, don't make me over. I got y'all numbers.
I got y'all numbers. After that song came out and became a hit, she made her way to Paris. She was like, listen, you can go over to Paris and perform. And apparently the critics in Paris called her Paris's Black Pearl. Isn't that crazy? Like, and not to, not the, the fetishization of blackness part that was like most striking to me. What was most striking is, what was it like for this young black girl, right, from Jersey, to decide that this was going to be her life and literally travel across the world, right, to perform in front of these crowds, and what that must have been like for her?
I can't imagine. I mean, those are things that the dreams are made of, surely. And to this day, to think that she has had a career spanning several decades is something to behold. There's people that came out after her that aren't around anymore. And that's to be respected. That's to be admired. I like, she's in her upper years and she doesn't feel forced to do anything. She doesn't feel forced to make new music. And you know how I feel about that. We've discussed things like that on the shows before. If certain artists don't feel like they ever have to make another record again and they had a career like that, I'm with it. You earn your rest. You can sit back and let people pay you to sing them same 5 songs over and over again. I'm with it. Sing it. But yeah, again, to the people, our contemporaries, stop playing the doll like she did not make these things happen. Like, Dionne had a whole soundtrack to one of the most, at the time, very controversial movies, and a classic to this day. I'm talking about the Valley of the Dolls, and that's partly why I'm referring to her as the doll. The Valley of the Dolls, starring Patty Duke, if I'm not mistaken.
Patty Duke was definitely one of the stars. Yep. Yeah.
And if you haven't seen that movie, do yourselves a favor and check it out. Brace yourself. There's some language in there that you will be surprised. Well, why weren't they canceled? They didn't cancel people back then. just go with it. It's still a good movie. But for her to have that kind of influence and carry a soundtrack on her back, I can't think of too many artists that started doing that until you had like Diana, Aretha. They carried soundtracks by themselves. Those things happen after Dionne.
Absolutely. She broke down a lot of barriers. So of course, if we want to just talk about like numbers, right? She is considered one of the most charted vocalists of all time. She's had 56 songs in the Hot 100 between 1962 and 1998. 56 songs in a 40 plus year. No, that's 36 years. 56 songs in the Hot 100. 12 of those were top 10s. She had 80 singles overall. She is in that nuts number. She ranks number 74 of Billboard's Hot 100's greatest artists of all time. That's nuts.
She's a GOAT.
She's a GOAT. She's a GOAT. And stop. And Sir Daniel, you are absolutely right. We have to give the woman her props because it's well deserved. Can we talk about some joints? Because we got on our social media a couple of weeks ago, and we were just talking about Dionne Warwick because that's what we do at Q Points. And we asked, what are some of your favorite Dionne Warwick songs? So here's a couple. So Bruce Phillips, who was just on the show, shout out to Bruce Phillips. BP. Walk On By and Say a Little Prayer were his choices.
Solid.
You know, Conquering Lion said I Say a Little Prayer as well. So another one for I Say a Little Prayer. Kipper Jones is Alfie, period. Like point blank, period, Alfie.
What's it all about? Let me stop before they mute us.
Oh, because those Sir Daniel, they're gonna be like, oh my God, the vocals. No, he's singing like the record. No.
Yeah, right. The algorithm said, no, you gotta pay for that.
And Beats and Teas selected Deja Vu. So classic joints. So Sir Daniel, what are your picks for your favorite Dionne joints?
So, I already said, I'll Never Love This Way Again. Mm-hmm. I'll never. See, there I go singing again. But yeah, I love that song. A friend of mine, one of my closest friends, actually sang it at a wedding and had people in tears because it's a really great song. And I love everything that everyone has mentioned so far. Did anybody bring up the Solid Gold theme song? Because because that's one of my favorites too, but I digress. But yes, definitely I'll Never Love This Way Again is one of my favorites. What's your pick?
My pick is You're Gonna Need Me, which is such a classic Johnny pick. So of course Dionne had to go in her funk bag for a minute. So in the early 1970s, so Dionne, of course, all the songs that people have picked for the most part have been part of her pop repertoire, right? Mm-hmm. So Dionne, along with Bert and Hal, created these incredible pop songs that even if they had been done before, they kind of became Dionne's song. Yeah. So that's through the 1960s, right? And then you still get that in the 70s, but there was a moment from the Just Being Myself album where Dionne is like on the cover at a beach, you know what I'm saying? And the opening track is You're Gonna Need Me, which ended up being sampled by the amazing Jay Dilla. Just a classic track. It's dope, vocally sick, beat sick, all of that.
Jay Dilla, Usher.
Yep.
That's the one there. Usher, Fabulous. There's a lot of, that song was sampled a lot. And then, fast forward, a few years back, another one of her songs, it was sample of a sample, which is Dionne Warwick's voice, is the Beyonce and Jay-Z Shining.
Yep.
Which is a sample of Osalande, which is a sample of Dionne Warwick.
Yeah, Osalande's Dionne. So if y'all haven't heard that joint, go drop it. Okay. So Sir Daniel, Dionne Warwick, I think for us, I think you would agree with me when I say this, is that she's kind of one of those omnipresent figures in our world.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Solid Gold. Can we talk about 80s Dionne?
Let me get comfortable for this. So by this time, we're kids, but Dionne Warwick, we didn't know what she had done before, but we know Dionne Warwick because of Solid Gold.
Mhm.
Like every Saturday night, without fail, the doll was decked out in the finest. I don't know, she was wearing Bob Mackie, whatever the finest designers were. She was always dolled up. And introducing Solid Gold was one of those great variety performance shows, and it also centered around dance, because the Solid Gold dancers would always perform to like the hottest song of the week or whatever was high on the charts. And I wish we had something like that today. I mean, well, I don't know if people could really, they could dance to the stuff that's out today, but I don't know, there was something magical about seeing Dionne interacting with whoever was performing that week, and then interacting with the dancers, because she always had a number. She would always sing a number during the show as well. So yeah, Dionne Warwick is, she's a bona fide television star as well. She went from recording career not to being a television star. So a lot of people at that age, you would think that would be the segue that a lot of people would want to have in their career, because the music is changing. You don't necessarily want to raise your family. You don't necessarily want to be on the road again. Doing a television show is a perfect way to stay in front of people all the time. You come to them through the television. You don't have to, spread yourself thin across the states. Like, did you enjoy? I'm sure you enjoyed Solid Gold as well.
I loved Solid Gold, and I'm actually having an epiphany about Solid Gold as we're having this conversation. I promise. I didn't realize this. But I guess Solid Gold was the equivalent to Britain's Top of the Pops that they had, where it was like the whatever the top song of the week, because Solid Gold was very much in, now that I make the correlation, it was very much in that vein. Whatever was kind of the hot song, Solid Gold, whatever the hot song of the week was, that artist was probably going to show up on Solid Gold. They were probably going to lip sync. They were probably going to, the Solid Gold dancers would be doing a thing. Dionne was going to have to do a number. She was probably going to sing some pop song of whatever's out and hot right now. Which is weird. I probably need to go listen to some of those now.
Yeah, because she did renditions of whatever was hot at the time. You're absolutely right. Yep.
And I never really thought of that before, but I remember feeling about that time was that, it was one of those things as a family that you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a family time. It was an opportunity for people to sit down in front of the TV. And it was interesting. I just had a moment. My mom came in. I'm not sure why, but that was really funny. So I was focused though. Y'all didn't even know I was focused. But anyway, family time was, we could watch Solid Gold. It was something that you could put the kids in front of, because we were like 5 or 6, watch it and feel like, oh, we did something. We got a dance, we got a music, we got a Dionne.
And a Darcel. Don't forget a Darcel.
And a Darcel, yeah. Yeah, and Solid Gold wasn't, and this is a slight departure, but Marilyn McCool hosted Solid Gold for a period of time too.
Did. It was Marilyn McCool, Dionne Warwick, Rick Dees. I want to say Arsenio did Solid Gold for a hot second too.
Really?
Let me do a quick fact.
Google. We're gonna do a fact check real quick. But that would be interesting. Yeah, so Solid Gold. So I wonder if I would like something like that to exist today. I think it could still exist, because the other thing that Solid Gold did, Sir Daniel, and I didn't think about this as well, is it was also a bridge, because your parents could watch it with you.
Yes.
It was one of those things that introduced them to what was kind of on the charts. And it also acted as a way for them to get connected to the new music as well. That's why I think something like Solid Gold could be dope, because there's not really those bridge shows that do a little bit of family and a little bit of pop culture.
Absolutely. And it could, but that everybody's so segregated as far as, like you were saying, as far as what they like. You got the adults that are like, I don't want to hear none of that. What y'all listen to. But yeah, Solid Gold did that. And yes, Arsenio did host Solid Gold up until about 86. He had a stint on Solid Gold. Yes, sir. Yep. He did. He absolutely did. And there was 1980 to 88. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So that is how Arsenio got his kind of kickoff. Oh, because they did do the different segments. So he's probably doing like a comedy thing and like doing a whole bit.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. We are the variety show generation. We are. We love to see it all. We love music, comedy, sketches, all of that stuff. But back to the doll. So a lot of what the young people are doing today, has been done. I mean, we keep, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this whole influencer thing, getting, throwing your hat into other ventures and what's the word I'm looking for? Diversifying your portfolio. Dionne Warwick was doing that back then. And if I'm not mistaken, you have a artifact
I do
that you wanted to share with the world tonight to let you know again that Dionne Warwick is that girl. Who was that girl?
So one of the things I realized since I have been collecting records in the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years, I have a lot of Dionne Warwick joints because Dionne Warwick classic albums are just great albums. So if you're a music lover and you love vinyl, definitely begin collecting Dionne Warwick albums because there's like gems on every one. But I decided one day to pick up Reservations for Two. This is the Reservations for Two album. Let me see. I got to make sure it focus, baby. So you get all of Dionne. Oh, it's focusing on my face. I'm sorry. There it is. There we go. Reservations for Two. So this album came out.
What's she wearing on the back? I'm sorry. What's she
wearing?
Oh,
here, yes. Give you the back. Yes, get it, ma'am. You see her?
Now that middle picture, y'all have been using that as a meme. I'm not going to say which meme, but y'all have been using that one as a meme. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Listen, Dionne, this record came out in 86. So this is a year after That's What Friends Are For, which we'll talk about in a second. But as 2 things I want to do with this album. Sir Daniel, I need to talk about who's on this record. But before I do that, so we talk about influencers and kids and the kids, they need to focus on making music and, not worry. Okay, bam. Dionne Warwick in 1986 was selling products and it says, Dionne, for everything you are. Hold on. So Dionne, baby, you could buy Dionne products. Look at them, kids. You could buy parfums and body sprays and powders and
is there a cream? Is there a cream?
Is there a cream?
There's a hand cream.
There's a body lotion. There's a body lotion, baby. Dionne was giving it. But let me tell you something. So first of all, she had a business. It was Dionne Inc. Catch it. And the 1 ounce of Dionne Warwick perfume, Sir Daniel, was $175 in 1986.
Elizabeth Taylor, who? Right. Because y'all thought Elizabeth Taylor was the only one charging those kind of prices. Dionne Warwick and Dionne Inc. was coming for that throat too in the cosmetic aisle at Macy's. Yeah.
And listen, it's got an order form. I could order. This won't work today, but I could order this.
Are you sure? Just
should I try and order? Just should I try and send it
in and see what happens? And what if you would gag if something came back in the mail like a box? And that box would be worth a lot now. I bet you it would.
Wow. Ooh, I wonder if anybody has, if you have any Dionne Inc. stuff, let a brother know. Cause yeah, she had perfumes, body lotions, scented candles, bath jelly. I don't know what that is. It's Gelee. I'm not fancy. I don't know what that is. And a purse spray. So I guess it's a little spray. But anyway, fabulous.
A brand. The dog had a brand. You see that D? The ink? The dog was doing it back. Listen, we cannot let this national treasure languish on this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame list. We need to start voting now. Everybody that's watching this, whether you're watching it live or in the future, go on there and vote before it's too late. Dionne Warwick is a national treasure, and we need to start treating her as such.
Absolutely. So let's talk about who on this album real quick, because I think it is important. Now, this is peak 80s pop, Dionne Warwick, the whole 9 yards. So by this time, Dionne's voice had changed. It was a lot deeper. It was a lot raspier, and you could really hear it on this record. I actually put this record on before getting on the show, but I'm gonna just read who is credited as features. So Dionne, we talk about the kids having features, and I could carry a whole record without features. We've been doing features for years, y'all. Stop doing this. Why? Well, I don't know why we do this when the kids been doing features since music was a thing. So here's who was featured on this record: Jeffrey Osborne, Kenny G, Smokey Robinson, Kashif, Howard Hewitt, and June Pointer. All of them was on the record.
J features. To the P, June Pointer.
June Pointer was on the record.
Y'all know how I feel about the Pointer Sisters already. Continue.
We gotta do a Pointer Sisters show, because I got a whole Pointer Sisters thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's who. So, okay, on this one song, we just gonna go into the liner notes real quick. So the liner notes was still in here. This is rare when you buy a used record, y'all, to have the actual liner notes available to you. And shout out to liner notes. This is why I'm happy that physical product is coming back, because now I can see who did stuff. But on this record, of course, like I mentioned, Kashif, but I was looking at this one track on Close Enough. You have both James Ingram and Phil Perry on background vocals. What?
James B. Ingram. And see, a lot of people, I know who Phil Perry is. Mm-hmm. I know who Phil Perry is. I know, in the Video Soul era, his videos would be on constantly. Mm-hmm. Those are names that people really need to lean into and to sing their praises. Because, James Ingram definitely. James Ingram sang, didn't he sing a Disney
He
song?
did. He did. Which one did he do? I will have to pull it. I can't remember right now, but he definitely did. It's Not a Whole New World, because that was Peebo.
That was Peebo.
We'll find. While you Google
I'm
that.
looking.
Also on here, and another name that we have to spend some time on, but not for this show.
Somewhere out there.
Yes. Somewhere out there. James Ingram.
Not J. Ray.
Not J. Ray. He also wrote PYT. So if PYT is your favorite Michael Jackson song, James Ingram wrote that. So, but Kashif is another name that Kashif did Monster, right? Kashif did 2 songs on this album, and he was such an important, pivotal figure as well. So the fact that Dionne had all of these mega stars, this was executive produced. This are Arista years, so Clive Davis executive produced this album, and it is telling that an artist, because by this point she's only about 20, almost 30 years into the career, which is a long time. But she's still doing it, still releasing records, still has star power. And it's nice that we get a chance to celebrate her while she's still here with us, because this woman has done it. If you, whatever your it is, she did it in 1985, Sir Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
When we are 4 years into HIV being something that people know exists.
Yeah.
She does That's What Friends Are For with Elton John and Gladys Knight and Stevie Wonder. And they raise millions of dollars for AIDS research. What?
You talking about, now that's influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's using, before platform was a platform, Dionne Warwick was using her influence on her platform. Mm-hmm. And in a very benevolent way, because a lot of people were staying away mm-hmm. from AIDS, from HIV, anything dealing with it, until it became popular mm-hmm. to lend your name. And Dionne and friends mm-hmm. really made that happen. It was mm-hmm. like, oh, now it's cool. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to be afraid. We're not going to feel stigmatized for, lending our talent to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And hats off to Dionne Warwick again for using her influence, for using her voice to shed light on the situation. And, that song, I mean, I can't tell you how many graduations I went to and heard that song being sung, talent shows. It's just, it's a hallmark song that, will never go anywhere. Mm-mm. And that's the mark of a good song, period.
Agreed. And think about the fact that, and this is dope when you think about it, because Dionne at that point was about 30 years into her career, right? If we use 55 as a marker, 31, right? Mm-hmm. And she could exist in the pop landscape at the same time as like a Janet Jackson's Control. Yeah. Like, being able to have those things coexist is, I think, another special thing that I would love for us to figure out how we recapture that, because that also allowed for crossover. You know what I'm saying? Folks that my parents was into, like, might have a hot song out that I'm into.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought up Janet, because I think we want to dive into this pocket really quickly. You mentioned Janet Jackson. We've talked about Diana Ross, and we talked about Dionne Warwick and the quality of their voices. Mm-hmm. I think each of them at some point in their career received some criticisms, especially from the Black community, about the heft of their voice or the lack thereof. Mm-hmm. And some people would actually try to say that they could not sing, which is something that we have dispelled, a myth that we have dispelled every single time it comes across this table on Q Points about each of these artists. And it's just something, we were talking about this last night in preparation. Anybody there, you can throw a shoe in a crowd and hit a really good singer. Mm-hmm. Great singers are everywhere. Mm-hmm. But not everybody can, one, entertain, and not everybody can, what's the word I'm looking for? Can decipher a song, mm-hmm. cycle it, and present it to a way that everybody loves it and that everybody can receive it. Not everyone has that talent. Mm-hmm. And I think Dionne was unfairly placed in that category because of the lightness of her voice. Let's just to be honest, the Bacharach years. Mm-hmm. Bacharach songs don't require a whole bunch of hooping. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. They just did not require a whole bunch of hooping. And, and I think, there's nothing wrong with hooping because there's songs that call for it, but Bacharach songs just didn't call for that. And so but it takes a different kind of singer to be able to restrain their voice and give the song what it needs to work, and a song translator is what Dionne Warwick is.
Wow, I like that. I like a song translator. Because I do think that Diana Ross fits, particularly in this instance. Diana Ross fits. I think I think where Janet kind of carves out a niche is a bit where she's very involved in kind of the songwriting process and is in the around the crafting of the song. But I do think, to your point, in the case of like a Dionne Warwick, being able to interpret these things, right? So let's talk about it. So you have to, in order for her to sing "Do You Know the Way to San Jose," probably ain't never been to San Jose, but there's a technical thing that you need to be able to do, because guarantee, I'm sure Bert and Hal was like, I need you to sing this exactly like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, no differentiating. Here's the key, here's the melody, ride it out, sing the song. In order to be able to do that and maintain your individuality, where people are like, no, that's definitely a Dionne Warwick song, you have to have something. And she had that something, that ability to translate those songs and make them black too, right? Because this is pop songs, right? This is like, do you know the... But baby, she get that little swing to it, and you're like, dum dum dum
dum. Yeah, absolutely. And so I think when we're talking about influence that deserves recognition, we're doing this show specifically for instances like this, to sing about the unsung. Like, we're not gonna skip the Psychic Network years. We're not gonna skip that, because that's all part of the Dionne Warwick folklore. It's all part of it. I think, I told this to you last night, I think she's hilarious when she's not even trying to be hilarious. She's just one of those, she is definitely at that age where you don't know what's going to come out of her mouth, and you're going to have to be okay with it when it does, because she's just, we just not going to tell Miss the doll what to say. She can't be corrected at this point in her life. But I love that. I love the resurgence that she's receiving because of the internet, because of social media. I'm so happy that a new generation is getting to find out who she is. And I really hope that you all take the time to do some digging, to pick up the songs that we've talked about tonight. Look at the videos, go back and look at those performances. There's a performance of her, like she's singing in the middle of a bar, it looks like, and people are legit standing around her, and she's got to sing the song, remember her lyrics, and remember that this camera person is in front of her, and she probably has some direction that she has to turn this way. You got to make sure that you're still in the shot. She's got to do all of that while there's a live audience, people standing around her, and she's singing to this room. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot, and that needs to be studied. I see a lot of people could stand, to look at some Dionne Warwick footage, and look at poise, look at projecting your voice, and the garments, stand apart, stand out on stage, give us something. Give us something, y'all, while y'all are out there charging these prices. Give us something to look at. And
absolutely. I agree. Like, I'm gonna drop in the chat. So as folks, as DJ Sir Daniel just said, go out and study. I was so happy to see this. Malik Kashad on the Black Music Archive broke down Promises, Promises. Just why, like, it's fun to watch because what he's basically arguing is that Promises, Promises is one of the hardest songs ever written and recorded. And Dionne Warwick is the one that was able to do that song. And so he goes through why it's so hard and why it's so difficult and why people just like, I'm not singing that song. So, yeah. But anyway, check that out. And as y'all are digging, and Sir Daniel, I think the video that you are referring to, I think she was singing Walk On By. I'm gonna see if I can find that too. But it was black and white. She had like a black thing and hair. Yes. I think that was a Walk On By. But yeah, there's like, and to watch that too, there's like all of these white people around her.
That part, I know they was like, who is this? Who let her in? Yeah, all of that was happening at that time. And I just know in the pit of my stomach that somebody said something out the way or tried to throw something at her or try to put out a cigarette. Or, all kinds of crazy stuff could have happened. But she was standing there flat-footed and saying,
baby, listen. Okay, so Sir Daniel, we gotta dip into 90s Dionne now. We gotta go to 90s Dionne, which is different.
Call me now. Call up a psychic network friend. It's, you know what? It's a thing that happened. It's a phenomenon. If people weren't paying for it, then they wouldn't be able to pay like a Dionne. I think there's some stigma attached to it because of the types of people that were associated with those kinds of telephone network things. Because listen, kids, back in the day, we used to have what we call landlines. And the landline, sometimes it would be stuck on the wall, or you'd have a telephone, sitting on the chest of drawers or wherever else in the house. And, certain people would get lonely and want to get advice from a psychic. And there were telephone lines for everything. There were telephone lines for like rap artists would come out and have a telephone line with it. I remember I got in trouble because I called like a JJ Fad hotline or something like that once upon a time. Of course, there were the X-rated hotlines. So of course, there are psychic hotlines. Why not? People want to know what's in their future, and these hotlines had the money to get people like a Dionne Warwick, more infamously LaToya Jackson at one point. You forgot about that?
I completely forgot about that one.
LaToya, you know what? I think LaToya deserves a segment. LaToya deserves a segment. LaToya is, she's a very, anyway, she's just one of those figures in pop culture that is just a marvel, something to marvel at, because you're like, wow, that happened.
That happened. Mm-hmm. Hot Potato is a jam. So that's all I'm going to say. Go listen to Hot Potato. It rocks.
You're going to miss my love. That's my joint. Bet you're going to miss my love. That's, yes. And Heart Don't Lie.
Oh, okay. So we got three LaToya Jackson joints. Okay, so we playing.
We can four. You're going to get rocked.
I don't really like You're Gonna Get Rocked. I'll never forget the video. You're gonna get rocked. No, I don't like that one. But at least the first three, I'm like, oh, those is joints. I like them. So maybe we do need to talk about her.
Listen, and there's some crossover because not only did she do Psychic Network, but she was on The Apprentice. Was she on the same season as Dionne?
Maybe. I never actually watched The Apprentice. I only caught the highlights, and Dionne and Omarosa were kind of my favorites. So yeah.
But yes, listen, a lot of the artists that people are, calling influencers and, multimedia stars and whatnot, Dionne did the same thing. She did exactly the same thing and deserves our respect. And if I can have a moment to plug something really quick, starting on March 6th, is it a Saturday? Yes, March 5th.
I'm going to say, I
March
think it's the 5th.
In time for Women's History Month. Sir Daniel is bringing back my live mix show, and I am dedicating my live mix show again to Black women in music. It's 99.5% all Black women. There might be a couple, R&B Ivory queens and whatnot that may be thrown in there a couple times. But I'm doing that because I want to pay respects to people like Dionne, to people who, first of all, I want to pay respect to like mix shows back in the day. I'm doing it on vinyl. It's going to be live, so it's going to be what it's going to be, but it's going to be a dope set dedicated to Black women in music. And, that's the reason why the shows like that, Sugar Honey on the Rocks, and Q Points are so important, because we have to celebrate what they have given to us, because sometimes the rest of the world, the larger population, isn't going to celebrate them like we do.
Mm-hmm.
So please join me on Saturday, March 5th at 2 p.m. And more details to come. We're going to drop links when everything is all set up. But yes, we doing sound checks and everything so we can make it right for you. But back to Q Points. We're about to wrap this thing up. J Ray, are we going to drop a link so that people know exactly to where to go so they can vote?
Absolutely. So remember, y'all, you must vote for your favorite Rock and Roll Hall of Fame artists. We are doing this series. I'm dropping a link in the chat right now. We are doing this 4-part series because, of course, Dionne Warwick, who we've talked about tonight. Next week, we're going to be talking about Lionel Richie. After that, we're talking about Fela Kuti. And after that, we're ending with A Tribe Called Quest, because we want to talk about all of these artists and the contributions that they've made to the music landscape. And they are vast. And so y'all need to go vote. Go ahead and vote. Vote for everybody Black. And then one other person, because you can vote for 5 people. So you can vote for 5 artists. So the 4 Black ones and 1 more. That's all. Do that. Yes. So anyway, you can vote there. To stay in touch with Q Points, though, go ahead and make sure that you become a Q Points insider. I know we've been teasing this for a while, but we are really close to changing stuff. We're like really close to it, because one of the things, y'all, you have to realize is the plan is to grow the show, and we can only grow the show and grow us if we utilize all the things that are available to us. So we are getting to that point. So you definitely want to become a Q Points insider, because stuff is going to flip. And you definitely want to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, review us on Podchaser, and subscribe to us on YouTube. I want to drop all of those links. And one last thing, Sir Daniel, I want to give us a quick shout out to, this is our 40th show.
We completely buried the league. We are 40 years old. Well, not
we
40
are
years
40,
old.
Right.
We're the big 4. We're the big 4. Oh, 40 shows, bro.
That's real, yo. Like,
that's wild.
That is, and who knew that we would have so many things to talk about? And there's still so many. Every show we're like, oh, we should probably do a show about that. Mm-hmm. we got a LaToya Jackson thing to do. Who knew?
Who knew we were going to do a LaToya Jackson show?
We didn't know. But there's so much to talk about, and I just want to shout out to you for just us being here together. This is exciting. We are 40 shows in, and y'all are here either on video or you are listening, and yo, that's like dope. We appreciate it.
It really is. It really is. We can't thank you enough. And just keep in tune, because there's going to be a lot more to come. We hope you enjoyed this show tonight. Please make sure you voted.
Please vote.
Votes for the doll, Dionne Warwick, along with Fila, Lionel, and a Tribe Called Quest. Y'all gonna be sick of us until we get this done. And they're gonna look back and say, those two Q Points guys, they used their platform to run those numbers up. We might have to, indict them or put them on trial for something. They did something. They ran those numbers up. It's called using your platform. It's called being an influencer.
Right.
Right.
I want to have some perfume. Can we get some Q Points perfume?
J-Ray, I really want you to send in that order form because I really do believe that there is a warehouse, a receiving warehouse somewhere out there in the valley in California that will receive and fulfill that order for you. And you have to do an unboxing video. You have to do an unboxing video because I know the product in there is going to be pristine. I want you to tell us how it smells. I want you to put the lotion on your hands. And I want you to tell me if it makes you feel like Dionne Warwick. I want to hear if your voice goes down a couple octaves after you sprayed the perfume in the air. I want all of that. All of that is very necessary.
You're convincing me that I might want to do. Can we go? Okay, before we stop, because we have to stop. One, the address is coincidentally in Los Angeles, of course, on Sunset Boulevard. But check out this picture of Dionne, baby. Listen. Look at
the back. The back is out, baby. I guarantee you, if and when they do the biopic with Tiana Taylor, allegedly. That has to be recreated because Tiana can pull that off because, again, the doll was doing it the way it was supposed to be done and was giving what it was supposed to give. Listen, this has been Q Points. I am Sir Daniel.
And I'm J Ray, and Sir Daniel needs to tell y'all to do something, y'all.
Listen, what do I always say? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the music play all the way to San Jose. This is Q Points. I'm Sir Daniel. That's J Ray. We out.
We out. Peace, y'all.
And vote. I say vote.
The link is in the thing. Go vote now.
Vote.
Bye.